सन्मात्रमद्वयमनामयचिच्छरीरं तत्त्वं पदार्थनिगमामृतबोधरूपं कोऽहं विचारमहसैव च बोधनीयम् आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये.
उपासकानां यदुपासनीयम् उपात्तवासं वटशाखिमूले तद्धाम दाक्षिण्यजुषा स्वमूर्त्यां जागर्तु चित्ते मम बोधरूपम् अद्राक्षम् अक्षीणदयानिधानम् आचार्यमाद्यं वटमूलभागे मौनेन मन्दस्मितभूषितेन महर्षिलोकस्य तमोनुदन्तं विद्राविताशेषतमो गणेन मुद्राविशेषेण मुहुर्मुनीनां निरस्य मायां दयया विधत्ते देवो महान् तत्त्वमसीति बोधम्. अपार सच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि. देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम्. ரெண்டு ஸ்லோகமாச்சா? Actually, first verse. So the first verse is Saduravu sattiṇakkam. sattiṇakkattiṇār sārbahaluñ sārbahalac cittaத்தின் sārbu sidaiyumē cittaccār aḥṭṛār alaiviladi aḥṭṛār jīvaṉ mutti peṭṭṛār ravariṇakkam peḥṭā. In this verse, Bhagavan is giving an instruction. The last line, ravariṇakkam peḥṭā. You do have the contact of sages. Satsangam. Satsangathoda phalathaiyum solliட்டார். The effect of satsanga. You have constant contact with satsanga. Can be in various stages. One is sadhakas like you have contact with them, or you have contact with great sages, jīvaṉ mukta. So any higher contact, because we generally in world we are immensely influenced. All negative qualities come through influence. That is why Narada in Bhakti Sutra says, even if you do not have satsanga, go and sleep. It is very, very dangerous to have negative contacts. Dussangaha sarvada eva tyajyaha. This evil contact should be given up by all means, which can pollute you. And the effect of negative contacts can be cleansed only by satsanga. As Bhagavata puts it, satsangat mukta dussangaha. Very easily it is visible in oneself that the effect of evil association, or we can say negative contact, it will be very easily removed only by satsanga. And when a person finds the power of satsanga, Bhagavan in his Appada part, he says satsanga is perandai rasam. This perandai rasam, perandai is a plant, and the juice of perandai cleanses the stomach. Like that, satsanga also cleanses the mind. Satsangamagum pirandai rasattudan. So the power of Mahapurusha Samparka, in Bhagavan's own words, is undeniable. So, in Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya says 3 things are very, very rare to get. The first thing is a human birth, or you can say humanhood, Anushyatvam. And the second is Mumukshutvam, the longing to get liberated, the spiritual longing. And third is Mahapurusha Samshrayaha, contact with a liberated being, a realized soul, a saint, a devotee. Contact with a higher evolved being is something very enriching spiritually. So these 3 things is the power of grace. So, in this verse, Bhagavan says, in the company of sages, what happens? Attachment vanishes. Constantly you hear Bhagavad Katha. Bhagavata says the Katha goes through the ear. It's an ENT thing. It goes through the ears and a subtle nerve opens which is directly connected to the heart, and it goes and cuts the worldly attachment. Yah karnanadim purushasya yataha bhavapradam geharatim chinatti. It just cuts that samsara asakti, which is bhavaprada, which gives you again and again birth, death. So that is considered very important. To get a true satsanga, people travel so much. Many came to Bhagavan to get his contact from the other side of the globe. Even now we come to Arunachala for that. From distant places people come here so that they can have this elevating contact. Something which does not belong to this world, where you are constantly reminded about devotion, dispassion, discrimination, austerity, higher kind of life, pure love, selflessness. Constantly you need remindings. Because the world is constantly reminding you selfishness, ambition, violence, all these things. That is what is called dussanga. So you need satsanga to be free of that negative things. So sattiṇakkattiṇāl sārbu ahalum. It's a great benefit. When you have attachment to a saint, your worldly attachment drops off. Satam prasangaha. As Bhagavata says, worldly thing is sangha. This is satam prasangaha. When a person is very deeply attached to a saint or a devotee or a jnani, then what happens? Dussanga, the effect of dussanga, the worldly attachment drops off. So Bhagavan here says, sattiṇakkattiṇāl sārbu ahalum. Many devotees, they found this secret. So they used to rush to Bhagavan. Whenever they will get time, they will go and sit there. So sattiṇakkattiṇāl sārbahaluñ. Satsangam kadachurthana, sārbu, olaha vishayathil irukra attachment viழுந்து போய்டும். When you have contact with constant, at least listening to the scriptures, which reminds you about the truth, then attachment slowly falls off. Cittattਿṉ sārbu ahala. Bhagavata gives a two-fold sadhana. One is outwardly you should have satsanga. Inwardly you should have no sangha with your mind. It's a very powerful sadhana. Ādau manasaha asangam punaha sangam cha sadhushu. Outwardly you have sangam with sadhu sangha. Inwardly your mind will be prattling something, you stop listening to the mind. Shankaracharya in his Yoga-taravali says how to reach that state of amanaska, no mind. The first state is the mind will be constantly creating sankalpa, imaginations, brooding. First, when you catch hold of the mind doing that, when you observe the mind, then first stage is when a mother sees that her child, her son, is not listening to her. For some period, she endures. Then slowly she advises. Then takes measures to control. Like that, the first step is prasahya sankalpa paramparanam. Sambhedane santata savadhanam. Alambanashat apachiyamanam. Shanaihi shantimupaiti chetaha. The mind slowly, in a gentle way, finds its way to peace, attain quietude. And the first step is, first you endure the brooding nature of the mind. Then slowly you move away from the mind. Become a sakshi. And outwardly train yourself to be a udasina, indifferent. A kind of spiritual indifference comes to the sadhaka. Because the things that are happening around you, you start eating them. When a disciple went to a guru, he asked, my mind is very, very turbulent. What should I do? The guru said, stop eating poisonous food. He said, I am not eating poisonous food. He said, you are eating through the eyes, through the ears, through the nose, not simply through the mouth. So stop getting these unnecessary news, unnecessary interactions, foods which you cannot digest, means informations which you cannot digest, incidents which you don't need. Stop eating these outer things, but things will be happening around you. Train yourself. A kind of spiritual indifference is needed. Udasinataya tishthet. Udasina means not interested. Things that you can see in the very form of Bhagavan, you can see that udasinata. Many things happen around him, he is not bothered. A kind of spiritual indifference. And that udasina taya pashyan. So that udasinata inwardly. And outwardly, you should have constant association with whomever you get. You cannot always get a Ramana Maharshi or Shankaracharya. If you do not get anything, at least have contact with spiritual books like Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavan's. This is Nool Tirat, etc. Bhagavan gave because he knows that we need satsanga. So we should have contact with the scriptures, constant reading, constant manana, constant nididhyasana, keeping yourself engaged, because time is maya. Time is bondage. Time also is the duration given to you to do bhakti, to meditate. So it all depends how you use. So, cittaccār sārbu sidaiyumē. When you have contact with renunciates, your mind loses its attachment. Citta sārbahaluñ. When nisangatvam comes, and again you go on listening to the teaching. Next is nirmohatvam. Moha means avidya. Ignorance. It is delusion, but it is ignorance. And that moha can be removed only by constant listening to the teaching, internalizing the teaching, absorbing the teaching, meditating on the teaching, and recognizing that the jiva bhava is not real. The world is not real, which is too much with us. The world is not real. Too much obsession with things falls off. That is nirmohatvam. You are no more bothered much. Things will be happening. Because as long as you are alive, something will be happening. But you no more have delusion. Lot of delusion are there. In spiritual life also there are many illusions. Many people think that the moment you come to spiritual life, your problems will be over. Many thought that Bhagavan had no pain. And there are stories also which create illusions. There is a story about Sadashiva Brahmendra which one devotee narrates to Bhagavan. Where he says Sadashiva Brahmendra was walking and one king cut his hand. And that hand fell off. But he was walking without awareness. And this person, then he realized that he is a fakir. The Muslim Nawab. He took the hand and ran behind him and gave the hand to him. And started praying, I did such a great crime. Then Sadashiva Brahmendra took that hand and put it there. And it got, all looks like a comic. I'm not saying this is not possible. Anything might be possible. But when they said this to Bhagavan, Bhagavan said, then is painlessness jnanam? If painlessness is jnanam, then anesthesia is enough. You need not bother about all this Upanishad Vedanta, Shravana, Manana, Nidhi, Dhyasana, Atma Vichara, nothing is needed. And we can be sure that medical science will reach such a perfection where they can avoid much of the pain. So that is not jnanam. You need not struggle too much for that. These are all moham. This is like mirage. From distance, you see something which does not exist as existing. This is moham. In desert, you see water there. You go there, no water. Like that, life, many things are there which we think that is it. But when you go there, it is not. So nirmohatvam means no more hallucination, no more delusion, no more imaginary illusion. The greatest moha is I as an individual is there. You seek that I. That is why Bhagavan was constantly trying to remove the moha. Even when you ask a doubt, he will ask, who is the doubter? Even when you want to meditate, he will ask, who is the meditator? Constantly hold on to this who am I and seek the I, whether the I is real, the I which is having so much problem. இதுதான் நமக்கு ஒரே பண்ண வேண்டிய விஷயமே இதுதான். இந்த கஷ்டம் வர சமயத்தில் அப்படியே பிடிச்சி கஷ்டம் வரது தான் நான் யார் விசாரம் பண்ணோம், எல்லாம் மெடிடேஷன் ரூமில் இல்லை. When you have great problem, when there is turmoil in your life, that is the moment when you have to take this Brahmastra. Who is suffering? Because the illusion is too much on you. You are considering the dream as real. Who is having this experience? It is me. Mayai nit, mayinal, unadu unmai vasham akkinai arunachala. Removing this moha is my. It is English my. Me, my. Remove that. By what? By just observing, by enquiry, but by asking, who is this I? Practicing self-enquiry is only unwinding the habit of this I. Because we are so used to it. So again, questioning what is this I, go deep into this I. Especially when you suffer, when you have pain, you hold on to this I, that will be a great experience, because that will be a real samadhi. So much of energy has exploded in the suffering. It is not possible when you are having a very calm, pleasant moment, know who am I. Not needed also. But when you have suffering, when you are put to trouble, when someone is insulting you, that is the right moment when you will see the whole energy is collected within and it expresses itself as me. And what is this me? What is this I? When you stay with this, you find that the I just reveals to you the source. It reveals that there is no I, there is no me. Only that nirvana, that shanti is there. This is nirmohatvam. Before that, nisangatvam. Next stage is nirmohatvam. And when the I thought which is the root of all other thoughts, is removed, avidya, asmita, ragadveshau, abhiniveshaha. avidyasmita ragadvesha abhiniveshaha kleshaha. Patanjali in Yoga Sutra says, klesha, what the samsara dukkha is called is klesha, affliction. And what is the nature of the affliction? The very first affliction is ignorance. And the effect of ignorance is asmita, I, me, mine. Everywhere. I and mine. Adhyasa Bhashya in Brahma Sutra, Shankaracharya says, aham mameti adhyasaha. This I and mine is adhyasa. It is superimposition. This is superimposition. So, to remove that, Vedanta Shravana, Atma Vichara is needed. Through Atma Vichara, this delusion is removed. Citta sārbahaluñ, alaiviladi aṭṭṛār. அது எப்படி அற்றான் வந்தது? அத்தன்மை ஆனவர்கள். அற்றார், அத்தன்மை ஆனவர்கள். நிஷல தத்துவம். Then, when the mind is no mind, because the mind means the I thought. When the I thought is removed, what remains is, Bhagavan says, when the I is sought, the ego vanishes and something else arises as I. Actually, there is a Mōha. Many sadhakas, they study these books in English and they sit in the old hall, inquire who am I. They want to push the single alphabet I inside and they want to see a double alphabet dancing. I. Something will arise as I. It is the, Bhagavan says, Paramapurna Sat. It is not I. It was just used, that's all. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvata aipatatyaham nija vicharanam. Ahaminashabhaji ahamaham taya spurati hitsvayam paramapurna sat. It is paramapurna sat. It is the fullness, it is the wholeness, it is the bhuma. When the ego I vanishes, that infinity, astitvam, nishalata, nishalatatva, nishalatatvam, nishalatatvam, you can take that padam in two ways. One is nishalatatvam, the other is nishalatatvam, a state of stillness or the principle of stillness. The Atman, the Swarupa is nishala, always nishala. There is no chalana, no creation, no sustenance, no dissolution ever happening in it. It is ever same. It is Satchidananda. So that is Nishala Tattve Jīvaṇ Muktihi. It is not that you are making the mind Nishalam. Should be very, very careful to understand this. And Gaudapadacharya says, quietening the mind is an upaya. It is a method. But the real goal is not always keeping the mind quiet. It is not possible. Then nothing you can do. The goal is, when the mind is quiet, you will be able to see the substratum, where there is inherent stillness. there is a word in English, I think that will be very suitable. It is axiomatic. I have not heard? Wonderful. It is sahaja. What they call sahaja. It is axiomatic. That is why they call perhaps axiom. Mahavakya is axiom. It declares what exists. Like that, the axiomatic, I think, it means it is not created by you. As Vedanta says, outwardly by action you can create something. Mentally by meditation also you can create a mood. But this is not some outer thing. It is not any mood that you create inside. It is the thing in itself. Adil. This is sahajasti, this is axiomatic, that is the word. Sahajam. You recognize it is Vastu Tantra. As Vedanta puts it, it is Vastu Tantra, not Purusha Tantra. Purusha Tantra means the human effort can change it or improve it or decrease it. But once you understand, recognize the self, karmana no vardhate no kaniyan. As the Shruti says, then you recognize that nothing, by doing nothing, you can add upon it. There is no way that you can lessen it. It is full by its own glory, not by your doing. It is by its own glory, standing on its own glory. Where is it abiding? In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, someone asks Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya says, Sve mahim nistitaha. He is abiding in his own glory. Not in the human effort, not in the mind. It is the very nature of the self. So just recognition happens. That's all. You just ask, who am I? What is this I? And you find, you seek the nature of the I. You search for the aham swarupa. Who is within this? Who is seeing through these eyes? Who is listening through the ears? Who is tasting through the tongue? Who is touching, feeling? When you close your eyes, the mind is dreaming and somebody is seeing, somebody is acting. A strange film is happening inside in the dream, that you are the actor in the dream. You are the dream house. You are the dream table. You are the dream food. You are the eater. And you are also the watcher of the dream eater and the dream food and the dream time and the dream space, everything. And suddenly, all that forms, they just fizzle out. And what exists is deep sleep. No I, no movement, nothing, only existence. Satta. And the Buddhists call that Shunya. We say Purna. Bhagavan said Purnam. Pazhandru, not Shunyam. It's all choice. What you say as Shunyam, we call Purnam, we say. And those who can understand, they also say, what you call Purnam, we call Shunyam. And the third party asks, if both are same, why not call Purnam? Why unnecessarily call Shunyam? Pazhandru ari Pundramam Purul Pungi, as Bhagavan says, it is Purna Purul, it is Purna Vastu. Because the ego fuses out. It is put off. It disappears, vanishes. And what remains is Sat. And then happens the true satsanga. When the jiva bhava goes and hugs that infinite, it disappears, and then what happens? Nischala tattva. The river is rushing towards the ocean. It is in great love with the ocean. In Sanskrit there is a verse which says the river fell in love with the ocean, and the ocean is called Sindhupati, Saritpati. It is the husband of river. So the river liked that husband very much. It got married with the ocean. And suddenly it finds that this husband does not suit me. The river says, sorry, I wanted another river, but you are too big. I am a small river, you are a vast ocean. The ocean said, where are you? The ocean asked, where are you? Then the river looked, I am also ocean. No river. So this is the secret. The jiva bhava goes and enters the infinite and finds that it is no more the jiva. The moha is gone. Nirmohatvam. Nirmohatve nischala tattvam. Nischala tattvam is already there. Even while the chalana is happening, the nischala is behind there. And you know the nischala and come back to chalana. No, nothing is wrong. And the yati, the sannyasi, is moving about. The Shrudivakya says, Chala niketaha. He says he has, his house is achala. He is firmly rooted there. Once in a while, he comes to this vehicle, this body, and it moves about. He is firmly established in the achala and he moves about in the chala. So this chala achala tattva, this achala tattva, you forget, you get into delusion, moha. So basically, satsanga is for nirmohatva. Nisangatva is sadhana. Nishala tattva is swarupa. What you get is nirmohatva. As Bharadiyar had in a part of the Mohathai kundruvidu allal endan muchaiye nirutti vidu. Mohathai eppadi kolla mudiyum? One person came to Bhagavan, he said, Bhagavan, give me self-realization, otherwise I will strangle myself. He was trying to commit suicide in front of Bhagavan. Bhagavan was looking at it. Not at all affected. Porum. Bhagavan said, yes, enough. Namakku Ishvara Sakshatkaram jīvaṇ mukti ella venda. Bhagavan said, we need not have God realization or jīvaṇ mukti. நான் என்ன கொல்லுவேன் அந்த நான் உதியாமல் இருந்தவர். He said the I which says I will strangulate myself, I will die. This I, find out what it is and you will find that it is a delusion, moha. So nirmohatva is enough. When you come to a jīvaṇ mukta like Bhagavan, what you get is nirmohatva. No more get deluded. After telling all this Bhagavata Shastra for 7 days, Parikshit is going to die. Because this is destiny that the serpent will come and bite him in few minutes. The last minute, sage Shukacharya gives him the highest teaching, where he says, give up the delusion. Tvam tu rajan marishyeti pashubuddhi mimam jahi. O king, give up this pashubuddhi, this delusion that you are going to die. It is only ignorance. Because you were never born. Na jātastvam prāgabhūtodya dehavatvam nanangshasi. You do not have a bodyhood. How can you even giving? No, I am not going to die, but I am going to give up the body. The body is not given to you. How can you give up? Dehavatvam nasti. If you rightly understand, then you will understand that you do not have a body. Body is not in you. It is appearing in nature. It is disappearing in nature. You are the Sakshi. You are the Adhishtanam. The cinema, somebody is dying. The screen is saying, I have given up my body. It is like that. You are that Brahma. Remain established there. Give up the moha. And one moment is a siddhosmi, anugrahitosmi. By your grace, I am blessed, I am free. I am established in fearlessness, he says. Na bibhemyaham ajnanam cha nirastam me. My ignorance is gone, that's all. Jnana nishtha has happened. So that is the simple thing. So, cittaccār sārbu sidaiyumē, the inner attachment goes away. Then jīvaṉ mutti peṭṟā, they attain liberation while alive. When alive, they attain liberation. In the body is there, it has its prarabdha, everything. But inwardly, that illumination arises that I am Brahman. I am the infinite. What exists here is Purna. It is Satchidananda. It is the bodiless, mindless thing. Aprano hi amanaha. There is a mantra in the Upanishad which says Aprano hi amanaha. No prana, no mind. Shubbraha. It is effulgence, pure effulgence. Aprano hi amana shubbraha. Shankaracharya very often quotes this mantra and says, by the power of this mantra, by having faith in this mantra, you can realize Brahman. Because what you need is only true knowledge, nothing else. You are considering someone's problem as your problem. Somebody went to an MRI scan. After the scan report, they gave a report in which he was diagnosed as having some great problem, some malignant problem. So he was crying, everybody was crying. After 1 hour, the doctor came with a great apology and said, sorry, we made a mistake. It is someone else's report, it got changed. You are perfectly all right. Now the question is, will it take time? I have to meditate. I don't have. And take the new report and again read it and meditate on it so that I will remove the problem. No. You just laugh. A little bit of the earlier trepidation will be there in your memory. That's all. Oh, what a fool I was. That only you can think. Perhaps the doctor will get something. That wrong report is what you get from the world. From everyone in the world. Bhagavan says, The Guru tells you Tattvamasi once. The world tells you millions of times Atattvamasi. Again and again telling you that directly or indirectly that you are the body, you are the mind, you have problem, you are going to die, you are born. Constant. But the mystery is that uttering the truth once has such a power that it can destroy that millions of auto-suggestions or outer suggestions. It can make you wake up from timeless dreaming. Anadi mayaya suptaha yada jīvaḥ prabudhyate ajam anidram aswapnam advaitam buddhyate tada. Anadi mayaya suptaha, sleeping from timeless maya. And the Guru wakes up, he wakes up. And realizes that I am the birthless, deathless truth. So this is jīvaṉ mutti, peṭṟā. There is a statement in Talks with Ramana Maharshi. Somebody is asking Bhagavan about jīvaṉ mukti. I don't exactly remember the question. It is about jīvaṉ mukti. But the answer of Bhagavan is like a bombshell. You know what Bhagavan says? The very question of mukti is inadmissible. We'll be shaken. Why Bhagavan is saying this? Because the question of bondage is only the feeling of bondage is only ignorance. The very nature of the self is liberation. You have to remove the ignorance, then you find that your very self is realization. Your very existence is liberation. If you do not understand this, again listen to this, to contemplate. Till you find it in yourself. Don't think jīvaṉ mukti means a state that you can claim. Sometimes any spiritual thing can become another, what they call the ego trip. Long back I got a book from some devotee. They said this is a book of my Guru, and he has put the right date on which he became jīvaṉ mukta. Many things like that. And there are people who say, we can train you to become jīvaṉ muktas. These are all called moha. We are not making fun of these things, but these are all mohas that can come in spiritual life. Unless you understand the Vedanta Shastra perfectly, because the problem is with ignorance. When the ignorance is removed, mukti hi atmaiva. Mukti is the very nature of the Atma, the very swarupa of the Atma. That is why for the realized person there are no ignorant people. For him all are jnanis only. Bhagavan always used to say, I don't find any ajnani. Everyone is a jnani. The body, the mind is all mere illusory things. The ego is a mere illusion. Only that Satchidananda, Shuddha Chaitanya is there. This is the most auspicious teaching. These are the most auspicious words. Again and again you listen and meditate on these words till you wake up, till they become real to you, till they become live in you, like fire in you. sada vedanta vakyeshu sada ramanta. Shankaracharya says, Kaupina Panchakam, where he says, what is this loincloth person doing? He is constantly taking delight in Vedanta Vakya, Upanishad. For food, bhikshanna matrena chatushtimandaha. A little bit of bhiksha is enough. Ashokamantah karane charantaha. His mind has no shoka, no grief. He has removed all grief from his mind. No more grieving. Kaupina vantah khalu bhagyavandaha. For wearing, he needs only a kaupina, nothing else. Such a one is the blessed one. He is Bhagyavan, the fortunate one, because he has got this vidya, this knowledge has become very real to him. So, Kaupina vantah khalu bhagyavantaha. So, next verse, natat guror na shastrarthat na punyat prapyate padam yat sadhu sangabhyutitat vichara vishadadhritaha. This is the Sanskrit verse. அடுத்தது ஷாதுரவு ஷாரவுளம் ஷார்த்தெளி விசாரத்தால் ஏது பரமாம் பதம் இங்கெய்துமோ ஓதுமது போதகனால் போதகனால் நூல் பொருளால் புண்ணியத்தால் பின்னுமொரு சாதகத்தால் சாரவுண்ணாதால். This is the verse. Not by listening to preachers, nor by study of books, nor by meritorious deeds, nor by any other means can one attain the supreme state, which is attainable only through association with the sages and the clear quest of the self. Sadhu uravu sara. There should be a relationship. Uravu kol nattu. Unarvu kayitral ஈர்த்து முருக வாங்கி கடைய முன்னிக்குமே. As Trinavakarsar Devaram, very beautiful Devaram. He says, Shiva is hidden in you like fire is hidden inside the churning stick. Fire sticks that they use to churn and bring out fire. Like that, Shiva is hidden. And you have two sticks. One stick is the Guru, the other stick is Jiva, you. And both this conversation, samvada is the attrition, the churning. And with that vichara, the fire comes out. And in that, real contact can happen only through bhakti. That is why they say uravu. Uravu means what uravu you can have with Guru? It is bhakti. As Shankaracharya Bhaja Govindam, after all teaching, he said, Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhaktaha Samsarada Chirad Bhava Muktaha. By pure devotion to Guru Charanambuja, to Guru's feet, means really what? The teaching that is given by the Guru. It is not simply outer puja. Bhagavan says in Nanyar, Guru solpadi nadakka vendum. That solpadi. What teaching the Guru gave, that is to follow that, to stay with that is Guru Bhakti. So, sadhu ravu. Sadhu uravu sara சதாச்சார சீலமுடைய சத்பாவ ஸ்திதி உள்ள சாதுக்களுடன் பக்தி எனும் நேச உறவை அடைவதினால். When you have devotion to bhakti to Guru, உளம் சார தெளிவிச்சாரத்தால், the mind turns towards the heart and crystal clear quest. தெளிவிசாரம். தெளிவிசாரத்தால் ஏது பரமாம் பதம் இங்கு ஏதுமோ, that supreme state which one can attain. With simple Guru Bhakti and turning the mind inward, the quest by which you can realize in your heart, that cannot be attained by Odumadu Bodhaganal, by some teacher. You can go and take PhD even in who am I? In Vedanta. You can have PhD. Odum adu Bodhaganal Nool Porulal, by simply understanding the meaning of the books. Punniyattal, by lot of good things. Sometimes in spiritually when we fail, the next step to which that we go is philanthropy. Do something in the world and try to convince yourself that is great. Punniyattal, pinnum oru sadhagattal, or many kind of techniques, methods you employ, sārbahaluñ all, you cannot attain that. So the message is, you have bhakti to Bhagavan and you are able to do atma vichara, that is enough. What you can get by having that bhakti to Bhagavan and inquiry into your heart, to inquire who am I, these two. But the bhakti is needed. One person said, you are talking too much about Ramana Maharshi's life. What we need is not Ramana Maharshi's life or Ramana Maharshi's bhakti. What we want is the technique that he is given. The who am I? He was a teacher. Then I told him, first of all, who am I is not a technique. It is something which happens in you when you have bhakti. Without the Guru Bhakti is a natural thing. When you have Guru Bhakti, the teaching works on you. But you are not doing Guru Bhakti for getting something. Your Guru Bhakti is ahaituki. You are not expecting anything. As once Ramanatha Brahmachari, who used to serve Bhagavan so much with love, one day Bhagavan gave him a tuck in his head and said, I have given you self-realization. And he went to everybody, excitedly told, not that Bhagavan has given me self-realization. He said, Bhagavan gave me a kishk, a kut in my head. That was more important for him than self-realization. He never even asked for that. So, when there is absolute motiveless devotion, the teaching works on us. Enquiry happens. It is just very easy. So, bhakti is more important. Sadhu uravu. Sāravulam sār telivicharam. Ulam sār telivicharam. Because when bhakti comes, the heart opens. The heart center opens. Then the vichara becomes effective. We will continue tomorrow. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.